We're on.
Okay. All right. So let's get this show on the road, right? So we're just going to start on time, and as people are rolling in, then we're going to welcome them aboard. I'm here. My name is Jarrell Jackson, and this is our second parent webinar. And this one's going to be focusing on communication and staying in touch. And I'm here with my boss, Dr. Ryan Smith, who's in charge of the secondary education and also responsible for all of our instructional technology across our district. I'm also here with Henry Cruz, and he's our esteemed graphic designer. He's in charge of all the things having to do with the district website. And as you'll see in a little bit, he's got some amazing insights for us regarding our social media. And finally, my amazing, awesome co-host and colleague, Nancy Rivas, and she'll be going into a deeper dive with us having to do with Schoology. Okay, so before I go any further, let me see if I can catch up with myself by showing the website or the slideshow.
And while you're doing that, I'll translate the introductions. Buenas tardes, gracias por acompañarnos hoy esta tarde para este martes de tecnología. Estamos aquí con el asistente del superintendente, el doctor Ryan Smith. También estamos con el señor Jarrell Jackson, que es el coordinador de tecnología instructiva. Y también tenemos a Henry Villalta, que es encargado de todo lo que tiene que ver con comunicación del distrito.
Okay, for some reason my slideshow just vanished on me.
Yo también soy especialista de tecnología instructiva y también estoy aquí esta tarde.
All right, let's see if I can do this again. Cool. Okay, thanks for your patience, everyone. All right, so this is our great team this evening. And so I want to kind of talk about what we're going to be going into in depth for everyone. So in this session, we want to look at the essential components that the school district is set up to allow for families to communicate with us and also receive critical information. And so we're going to take a deeper dive into one of the things we touched on last week, and that was that was a Schoology communication. This is going to be focusing and specific on classroom communication and school communication. Okay, so after that, we're going to look at Paramount Unified School District and their social media outlets and the ways that we can celebrate our students' achievement, and also as a secondary method for getting out critical information. We're also going to talk about some navigation tools. We're going to have Henry look at our school district website and go deeper into how we can, and some of the amazing features that he's prepared there for us. Nancy?
Esta tarde vamos a estar hablando de cómo usted se puede mantener conectado digitalmente. Vamos a estar platicando un poquito más acerca de Schoology. La semana pasada hablamos acerca de este tema. Vamos a estar viendo algunas herramientas que se pueden usar en esta plataforma. También vamos a hablar del distrito y las redes sociales que tiene el distrito y cómo usted se puede mantener conectado mediante de ese medio. También vamos a estar viendo el sitio de internet del distrito y algunas pestañas específicas para que usted se pueda mantener conectado mediante el sitio de internet.
Okay. So I'm going to stop sharing right now and return to our district website. So let me just introduce a couple different points that we're going to be starting to navigate with, and then I'm going to turn the baton over to Nancy, who's going to share a little bit more with us related to interacting with Schoology. So let's take a look at the district website.
So en este momento va a mostrar el sitio de internet.
Okay, so we're going to look at a couple of different parts of this, but if you want to follow along, here's how you can do it. So across the top under family, parent and family, in parent education, you're going to find information front and center about tonight's event. So if you scroll down a little bit, you can see that here we have the event. Also, if you've already clicked here to go in and visit this, you know how to follow this, but right below it is a way that you can add your own comments. And so we chose to do this way rather than have it inside the chat on the YouTube, because this gives us a little bit of a little bit more information about you and gives us the ability to reach out in a more direct way. Below that, the session resources. And so you can actually click and see our slideshow that we're referring to. There's a channels of communication that it has a little bit more information that we can refer to that I'm going to take you to in just a second. And then here's the Schoology reference that you can go into also. But let me just kind of take you into the channels of communication here really quick to share with you this page that we've set up to kind of support this session and kind of go over what this kind of says. So with all the different ways that we use to communicate to our families, there's the obvious one, the one that we use with phones, using a direct communication. And I've actually made a link here in our website where you can actually see the different links to the phone numbers for our schools. Of course, we have instant message and text messages that we use frequently. We also use email, of course, and we use Schoology, which is our learning management system. And for those students who attend Odyssey, they're using a thing called Alt School, but they may use a pairing or a couple of both of all of these different media sources. And then we've got this really cool thing called social media. And then below that, you have got a link to our Facebook page, our Instagram page, and our Twitter page. Okay, so I'm going to switch over here just really quick. I better pause right now, though. I keep on getting ahead of myself, Nancy. Sorry about that.
It's okay. So aquí está el señor Jackson está demostrando el sitio de internet de Paramount y hay una pestaña que tiene el título Padres y Familias. Can you click on that Parents and Families tab again? Y allí hay una sección, la sección donde usted quizás visitó hoy para acceder a este video de YouTube. Can you go to that first area that you pointed out? La sección Educación para los Padres. Ahí está la información sobre este webinar que estamos teniendo hoy, incluido la forma, si usted quiere dejar unos comentarios o si tiene preguntas, ahí tenemos esa oportunidad. Y también tiene la información acerca del enlace que usted está usando para YouTube en este momento. Pero también hay otra sección que usted tiene ahí que dice recursos de la sesión y hay una página que si usted puede hacerle clic, que son páginas de comunicación y diferentes canales que tiene de comunicación que tiene que ver con el distrito. So, Gerald, can you click on that again, please? Y aquí en esta página tiene diferente información, incluyendo las redes sociales que tienen que ver con el distrito. Si va hacia abajo, scroll all the way to the bottom, Gerald, puede ver la información acerca de esas redes sociales, incluido el enlace para la página del distrito en Facebook, la página del distrito en Instagram y la página del distrito en Twitter. Entonces, ahí tiene, además de comunicarse directamente al distrito por medio del teléfono, por medio de mensajes de texto, quizás que el distrito manda para informarle de diferentes eventos. También hay correo electrónico, como usted sabe, también hay Schoology, si usted tiene una cuenta en Schoology, y también a esa lista se le agrega las redes sociales que tenemos. Son diferentes formas de comunicarse.
Okay, so Thank you, Nancy. So this kind of gives you an overview. This is super basic, and I'm just kind of speaking now to those of you who are gathering and getting organized. That if you still, for some reason, whatever reason it would be, that you still would need an email address, I've actually added a couple of the top email services that if you wanted to, you just click on this arrow and you can see what's available. I'm assuming that just about everyone has an email by now. I would only add to this that whatever email you use, whatever email address that you use, that it's the same one that you use over and over and over again for all the communication that you have with the Paramount Unified School District. It'll just make things easier for you and also for everyone else.
Y para comunicarse es esencial tener un correo electrónico. Si usted en este momento todavía no tiene acceso a correo electrónico, aquí hay información que el señor Jackson ha puesto en esta página también, donde usted puede ir a diferentes proveedores de correo electrónico si tiene una lista de los más populares. Que incluye Google, Outlook, Yahoo y AOL. Es una compañía también que provee correo electrónico gratuito. Si por cualquier razón necesita inscribirse para recibir correo electrónico, no tiene uno, puede usar esta información para que pueda conseguir uno.
Okay, thank you, Nancy. Okay, everyone, I'm going to stop sharing here my screen. And I'm going to turn it over to Nancy. But before I do that, I just wanted to encourage you, if you had any questions, to go ahead and click on that link where we have that information organized so that you can enter any comments or questions. And speaking of that, we have curated through and reviewed some of the comments from last week. And so Nancy's going to be directly addressing some of those questions that you had in the next section right now. All right, Nancy, it's all yours.
Solo un recordatorio, si usted quiere participar, tiene la oportunidad en esta forma donde demostramos en el sitio de internet, donde usted puede ir para participar, puede mandar sus comentarios, preguntas. Yo voy a estar contestando algunas preguntas que recibimos la semana pasada que no contestamos, y también voy a estar platicando acerca de Schoology un poquito más. Let me share my screen now. Voy a compartir mi pantalla con ustedes. So first off, I'm going to start off by talking a little bit more about Schoology. It was a topic that we discussed last week, and just revisiting some of the things that we did touch upon last week. So Schoology has the ability, if you have signed up since last week, excellent. We encourage you to sign up if you still have not. And you can actually see the information for last week if you want to know how to sign up. There, we have that slideshow provided in last week's information so that you can take a look at that and learn how to sign up. So if you did sign up, excellent. There is an ability to turn on notifications on or off, and within the Schoology portal, and I'll show you where you go to turn those notifications on or off. And I also, again, want to repeat that you do have the ability to receive notifications, not only via email, but also through phone notifications. And you are able to sync your phone with your Schoology parent account so that those notifications come directly to your mobile device. Also, a question that we do receive a lot is, who can I contact using Schoology email? Once you're all signed up and you have your parent Schoology account, you can not only message parents, or I'm sorry, not parents. You can message teachers. You can email different staff at the school. Basically, what you need to know is the individual's name so that you can send a message. Once you start typing in their name, they will actually populate for you on the email system, and I'll show you how that works in a second. You can also email us as well. Okay, so your presenters, you have the ability to email us if you have any questions. You can use the Schoology platform to do that as well. And some helpful tips when you do send out an email. Sometimes, and I'll just use this as an example, sometimes I'll get an email, and remember, we have many parents associated with the district, so it's not just a handful, it's a lot. So it would be very helpful when you send your email to your teacher or to any staff member that you include the student name, class period, if there's a class period associated with the student, that would be very helpful, and an ID number if you have it on hand. If you know your student's ID number, that as well would be incredibly helpful. Also include your contact information, even though you are making contact to that individual via Schoology. If you provide a phone number or an alternate email, that would be helpful to have available. That way the teacher, whoever you're emailing, has options as to how to respond to you. And as always, we do encourage you to wait at least 48 hours, 24 to 48 hours for a response, so that can be addressed, your concern can be addressed. Quería platicar un poquito más acerca de Schoology. La semana pasada estuvimos hablando acerca de las notificaciones que puede encender uno en Schoology. Y usted tiene la habilidad de encender esas notificaciones, no solo que las reciba por medio de correo electrónico, pero también por medio de su teléfono. Y voy a demostrar eso en unos segundos, pero puede conectar su teléfono para que reciba esas notificaciones directo a su dispositivo móvil. Y también en Schoology usted tiene la habilidad de mandar mensajes a los maestros, y hablamos acerca de eso la semana pasada, pero no solo es con los maestros. Usted puede mandar mensajes también a diferentes personas de la escuela que trabajan en la escuela. Si usted sabe el nombre, es lo único que necesita. Si usted ya tiene cuenta de Schoology y va a la sección donde se hace el mensaje, puede escribir el nombre de la persona y la persona va a salir en el directorio y usted le puede mandar mensaje. Incluso esto nos incluye a nosotros, sus presentadores de hoy. Usted nos puede encontrar en el sistema de Schoology y nos puede mandar un mensaje también. Y algunas sugerencias que damos cuando usted mande un mensaje. Como usted sabe, hay muchos estudiantes que están aquí en la escuela. Entonces, si usted incluye el nombre, el periodo o la clase del estudiante, si eso aplica, eso ayuda mucho para poder identificar el estudiante más rápidamente. Si tiene un número de identificación, eso también ayuda mucho. Y también usted puede incluir su información de contacto, dónde le pueden llamar o dónde le pueden escribir un correo electrónico alternativo que usted tenga. Esa información sería de mucha ayuda para que los maestros o las personas que le esté mandando un mensaje a usted puedan tener opciones de cómo contestarle. También los encomiamos a que se esperen de 24 a 48 horas para una respuesta para que le puedan ayudar a usted. So now I'm actually going to jump into Schoology so that I can point those items out that I just discussed. So in Schoology, you have, now I'm getting confused. I don't know if I should speak in English or Spanish. In Schoology, you have the ability to turn notifications on or off, and I will show you where that is done. So if you go into your account, you will see your name on the upper right-hand corner. And if you click on the area labeled settings, you would click there. And this will take me into this section, and here I have a notifications tab. I would click on this notifications tab. And now it tells me here what type of email notifications do I want to receive? Do I want to turn it on or off or custom? So you would just go down this list, and then you would choose to turn on or off the items that you want. And if you look here on the right-hand side, it says send notifications to your phone via text message. This is where you would activate that notification piece for your cell phone. You would click this option, It's going to ask you what your cell phone number is, your country, your carrier, and then you would set the notifications to be sent to your mobile device. Para encender las notificaciones por medio de correo electrónico o por teléfono, usted va a entrar a su cuenta de Schoology y donde está su nombre en la mano derecha, usted va a tener una opción que se llama Settings y va a hacer clic en esa opción y la va a mandar a esta página y hay un lugar donde dice Notifications o notificaciones en español. Y aquí usted tiene la habilidad de encender o apagar el tipo de notificación. Entonces hay una gran lista, usted puede leer si quiere recibir esas notificaciones, lo va a encender o lo puede mantener apagado. Y también acá en la mano derecha usted ve que hay una sección que dice mandar notificaciones a su teléfono. Puede hacer clic ahí y va a entrar su información telefónica para que pueda recibir esas notificaciones y le presiona aquí el botón, este botón y eso ya va a poder inscribirse así. So es bien fácil para hacer estas notificaciones llegar también a su teléfono. So that is the notifications part. For sending messages, so I just talked about how you can send messages to teachers and other staff at the school. You would go to the envelope here that's on the on the home bar for the Schoology navigation. Click there, and then you would click New Message. And then you would simply start typing the name of the individual. So in this case, I typed in Jarrell Jackson's name here. I clicked on him. And then I can send a message. I can send a link. I can send a screenshot of something by choosing this file option, and then I would click send. So again, I'm going to show you how to do that. You would go to the envelope to send a message, click on the envelope. You would click new message and you would simply start typing the individual's name. This will pick up individuals within the organization that you're associated with, and your organization is Paramount Unified School District. Para mandar mensajes, y los puede mandar mensajes no solo a maestros, pero a diferentes personas que trabajan en el distrito. Usted le hace clic en el sobre que ve aquí al lado de su nombre y va a escoger la opción de nuevo mensaje y empieza a escribir el nombre del individuo. En este caso voy a usar al señor Jarrell Jackson como ejemplo. Empiezo a escribir su nombre y me va a salir el nombre de la persona, lo selecciono y puedo escribir mi mensaje aquí y hacer clic en send. Y así es como uno se puede comunicar con diferentes personas en el distrito. Este medio va a poder escoger usted diferentes personas del distrito. Si trabajan y están asociadas con nuestro distrito, va a ver que su nombre sale aquí en esta sección. So that's pretty much it for my part of the presentation. And we are recording the session. So if there's anything that you did miss or that you want to see again after this live stream ends, you will have the ability to replay the video. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing and I'm handing it back to you, Jarrell.
Thanks a lot, Nancy. I had a question though. If I had if I had students, like for instance, from a couple different schools, and I was setting the notifications, would it apply to communication for all of my kids?
That's an excellent question. And let me just share my screen one more time so I can show you something here. So when you turn on or off the notifications, if you notice, there's on, off, and there's also a custom option here. So if I click on the custom option, I can actually choose specifically which classes I want to receive notifications for my child. So that's how I would pick and choose more specific. Maybe there's one of my children who needs more support and I need to be on top of them a little bit more. So I would I can choose to turn those notifications on for that particular student or for that particular class by choosing that custom option. So la pregunta que me hizo el señor Jarrell Jackson es que si hay uno de mis estudiantes que sí quiero recibir notificaciones, pero si hay otro que yo no quiero recibir notificaciones, usted sí tiene la opción de escoger de cuáles clases quiere recibir notificaciones. Si cuando va a esta área, las opciones son on, off o también custom, y custom significa que usted puede escoger cuál notificaciones quiere recibir para cuál clase, y usted fuera y seleccionar aquí cuáles clases es que usted quiere recibir esa información. Very good question. Thanks, Jarrell. And actually, that will actually kind of tie into the questions that we received last week. I forgot I was going to revisit some of those questions that we received. So last week on the form, we received a lot of excellent questions, and unfortunately, because of time, we didn't have time to answer them all. So I went back and I saw some of the questions, and I want to talk specifically about some of them that we received. Somebody asked regarding apps that students have access to. And when are they used, or how can they be downloaded? So that was a great question. And students have access to something that we call ClassLink, and it's a dashboard for many different resources that we use here in the district. And I think that in another Tech Tuesday, we'll probably talk about ClassLink a little bit more. But just to give you a quick background, on the student Chromebook, students do not need to download any programs. If there are any programs that the students need to be making use of, we will be pushing them out on ClassLink. So it's one website to remember. The students should be familiar with it already. And if they're not, there is a link on the district website under the students option to ClassLink, and that dashboard will show all resources that they need to have access to. Había una pregunta la semana pasada de cuáles aplicaciones los muchachos necesitan saber o cuáles necesitan bajar. Y solo para su información, hay un sitio de internet que se llama ClassLink, y en ese sitio nosotros tenemos o nosotros les damos acceso a los estudiantes a todos los recursos que van a ocupar. En ese sitio están presentes esos enlaces para ellos. Entonces no hay nada que tienen que bajar. Another question was, how do I view my sent messages to my child's teacher? That was another excellent question, and it kind of ties into what we talked about today. To view sent messages, in that envelope icon, you would click there, and then if you scroll down to the bottom, you see there is a view all option. You would click that option, and then you have an inbox and you have your sent messages. So you can see the sent messages that you've sent there. Para ver los mensajes enviados, usted puede hacer clic en el sobre, va a View All o ver todo, y tiene no solo tiene el inbox, pero también tiene los mensajes que ha mandado y puede ver esa información allí. Another thing that was mentioned last week was I can't like or add comments to the teacher's post. Due to privacy reasons, this ability is turned off, so parents do not have the ability to view other student comments in a course or to add to a thread or a discussion post in a class. So that's due to privacy reasons. Okay, and let's see, is there a way to make assignments turned in along with the grade and feedback from teacher under parent accounts? That was an excellent question, and that would be up to Schoology to make that ability to view that under the parent's account. For now, you do have to toggle to your students that are associated with your Schoology account to see that info. But that was a very good question. So those are excellent questions. So we are looking at the questions that are being sent in. So we encourage you today to send your questions in. There were some people that I emailed individually with some responses. So We encourage you to keep filling out that form so that we can help you out. If we can, we'll try our best to help you out. So, sigan mandando sus preguntas para que nosotros les podamos dar respuesta. Si no, le damos la respuesta por medio del correo electrónico. En estas sesiones les podemos platicar acerca de las respuestas para usted. Okay, so I don't want to take any more time, so I'm going to now hand it back to Darrell.
Nancy, that was amazing. That was great, and I just gotta tell you how fortunate I am to be able to have you around, somebody who's so experienced with Schoology. So we're going to pivot right now, and we're going to take a look at our website, and more specifically, some of our social media outlets. So just as an entry to this discussion, I want to reassure everyone that the most current or the most vital and essential information that comes out from our school district is going to be posted on our website someplace where you can find it. It's either going to be in one of two places, either on our banner or it's going to be in the news. And so we're going to look at that just a little bit. But our social media, that's where it becomes a little bit fun. It's like the dessert with all the stuff that's going on, or it's a way that we can push out information, important information like this session shows up on our Facebook. And it's also a great way to celebrate our students and all the amazing things they're doing. Okay, so Henry, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to prep while you introduce yourself, and we'll get this show on the road.
Hi, everybody. My name is Henry Villalta Cruz, and I am the Communications and Media Coordinator for Paramount Unified School District. And like Mr. Jackson just said, today I just want to talk to you briefly about where you can locate our social media outlets on our district website. So Darrell is actually going to help me by sharing his screen so that you can follow along with me. And so the first thing I'll start with is by searching for our district website on my preferred browser. So I'll type in Paramount Unified.
If I can spell, sorry.
You're doing great, Darrell. Thank you. And so once I search for it and I get my results, I'll click on the actual website. And before I do anything else, before we get into social media, the very first thing I like to do when I land on this page is I like to click on the star to make sure that I bookmark this page. This way, if I have to come back to Paramount Unified, it'll be a lot easier for me to find. I don't have to go click and be self-conscious about my spelling. Once I have bookmarked my page, on the right-hand side, as on this home screen, you can see that we have our social media shortcuts, which pertain to our YouTube account, our Twitter account, which Dr. Smith will talk to you more about, our Instagram account, our Facebook account. And in addition to those 4 social media shortcuts, we also have 2 buttons kind of to help you navigate our site. One of them is a search button that lets you search for anything particular. So if you want to search for registration and you don't know where it is on our website, if you click on that search button and you type in registration, you'll get a plethora of results to guide you where you need to go. The last button that I want to talk to you about is the translate button. If you're more comfortable navigating in a different language, if you're more comfortable navigating in Spanish, if you click on that button, it automatically translates it to Spanish. And that's just to make navigation a little bit easier for you. The last place, or the next place where you can find our social media, is by scrolling down. You'll scroll past our superintendent's message. You'll scroll past our calendar of events, and at the bottom, you'll see 3 sections. You'll see our news section, you'll see our Twitter section, and you'll also see our Facebook section. Both of these are live feeds of what's actually going on in our social media accounts right now. And before I get into more of that, let me redo my presentation in Spanish. So Darrell, if you can scroll all the way back up.
You got it.
Okay, I'll start all over. Mi nombre es Henry Villalta Cruz y soy el coordinador de comunicaciones y medios para el programa. Antes de hacer cualquier cosa, voy a abrir mi navegador preferido y voy a buscar el distrito de Paramount. Go ahead and type in Paramount Unified. It's okay if you misspell it. Cuando llegue a esta página, voy a hacerle clic al distrito de Paramount. Y antes de hacer otra cosa, lo primero que voy a hacer es, voy a hacerle clic a la estrellita que veo allí para marcar esta página como una de mis favoritas. Lo que va a hacer esto es que la próxima vez que quiera buscar el distrito de Paramount, no tengo que ir a buscar nada, solo puedo ver dónde dejé mi página favorita y puedo llegar al sitio web del distrito. Ahora que estamos acá en la página de inicio del distrito web de Paramount, puedo ver que al lado derecho de esta ventana tengo los botones para nuestras redes sociales. Tengo un botón para YouTube, un botón para Twitter, un botón para Instagram y un botón para Facebook. Cada uno de estos botones, si lo oprimo o si le hago clic, me van a llegar a esas cuentas. Tenemos otros dos botones que nos van a ayudar a navegar nuestro sitio web. Uno es un botón de búsqueda y otro es un botón que nos ayuda a traducir nuestro sitio web. El señor Jackson lo acaba de oprimir, le acaba de hacer clic en el que nos ayuda a traducir y pueden ver que ahora mi sitio web del distrito está en español. Así que estos dos botones nos ayudan a navegar más tranquilamente en el idioma que nosotros preferimos. You can go back to English. El segundo lugar donde pueden encontrar nuestras redes sociales es si añadimos hacia abajo, scroll down. Vamos a pasar el mensaje de la superintendente, vamos a pasar el calendario de eventos y abajo van a haber tres secciones, una con nuestras noticias, una con nuestro Twitter y otra con nuestra cuenta de Facebook. Estas son nuestras tres secciones donde, como dijo Mr. Jackson, ponemos nuestras noticias más prominentes. If you scroll all the way to the top, I'd like to talk about what do we do now that we know where our social media is. So we know how to locate it. We know that it's on the right-hand side of our screen, and we know that it's at the bottom of our page. But how do we get involved? So if I click on the Instagram icon, for example, at this moment, I can see that Instagram will open, and I'll be able to see our current posts from Paramount Unified. But if I want to go give it a like, if I scroll over it and I try to give it a like and I click on it, it'll automatically ask me either to create an account or to log in. So if you do not have an account for Instagram or if you do not have an account for Facebook, you wouldn't be able to participate with likes, with comments, or with messages. So we really encourage you to create an account. It's very easy. All you need is an email. And if you create a Facebook account, that's automatically connected to your Instagram account. Can you go back so I can do it in Spanish? Ahora que sabemos dónde están nuestras redes sociales, sabemos que están al lado derecho y sabemos que están hasta abajo de esta página de inicio. Si yo le hago clic a la página de Instagram, por ejemplo, voy a poder ver todo lo que está puesto por el distrito de Paramount, pero si le quiero dar un like o si quiero poner un comentario o si quiero mandarle un mensaje al distrito de Paramount, no voy a poder hacerlo si no tengo una cuenta de Instagram o si no tengo una cuenta de Facebook o una cuenta de Twitter. Nosotros les queremos pedir a ustedes que si quieren una cuenta o si nos quieren mandar mensajes, si nos quieren dar esos likes, que por favor creen una cuenta. Todo lo que necesitan es un correo electrónico y nos pueden dar todos esos likes que a nosotros nos gustan tanto. Ahora, yo les hablé de Instagram, yo les hablé de Facebook. Se la voy a pasar al Dr. Smith para que les hable un poquito de Twitter y de qué se trata ese medio de redes social. I'm going to hand it over to Dr. Smith so he can talk a little bit more about Twitter.
Okay. All right, I'm going to stop sharing then.
Thank you, Darrell. That was awesome.
You were just fantastic. Thank you, Henry. That was great. And I encourage you to be bold, participate in some of the social media. It's curated and it's safe. So I would encourage you to jump in and participate. Okay, so I'm gonna give the show over to my boss, Dr. Ryan Smith, who is he's in number 6 in the nation with tweets and Twitter. So here's Dr. Smith.
Thanks a lot, Darrell. Good evening, everyone. My name is Ryan Smith, and I'm the Assistant Superintendent of Secondary Education. I oversee educational technology in our district, and it's an absolute pleasure to be here with you tonight. I appreciate the opportunity to be the very special guest on our second episode. So I am here to talk a little bit about Twitter as one of our social media platforms. Many of you might be familiar with Twitter, but some of our research shows that Twitter is a platform that not all adult users are active on. And so I just wanted to share a little bit more about what Twitter is all about and walk you through how to access our school and district accounts. And I believe Nancy's are going to give me the assist, so I'll pause there.
Yeah. Esta tarde el Dr. Smith va a estar platicando un poquito acerca de Twitter y el Twitter es otra plataforma, es una red social y el distrito también tiene una cuenta en Twitter y él va a estar platicando acerca de, aunque Twitter no es una plataforma que es muy común o es muy popular, sí hay diferentes cosas que usted puede ver acerca del distrito aquí por medio de esta red.
So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and just walk you through a few of the basics, and we can even take a look at a few accounts. So hopefully everyone can see this. So essentially, Twitter is a social media platform that has about 360 million users worldwide. And users that participate in Twitter, just like other social media platforms, their usernames always begin with that little @ symbol. So for me, I'm Ryan Smith. My Twitter handle begins with @ and then it's PUSD secondary, PUSD meaning Paramount Unified School District. For a little bit of trivia, I also wanted to share that who the top 5 users in the world happen to be. Former President Barack Obama with 122.3 million followers. And then you can see everybody else on the list, which runs the gamut from music stars all the way to a major soccer star. I didn't include number 6 on the list, which I'm told by some people is actually me. Just kidding, it's not. And overall, over 500 tweets are shared per day.
Esta es información básica acerca de la red social Twitter. En el mundo o mundialmente hay 360 millones de usuarios y en esta red social, si usted tiene un nombre de usuario, siempre va a comenzar con la arroba. Y en el caso del Dr. Smith, que sí tiene una cuenta, y usted también lo puede seguir, su cuenta empieza con @PUSD secondary. Porque él se encarga de las escuelas secundarias. Y también para su información, hay 5 usuarios aquí que tienen esta lista, que son los más populares, que es el presidente anterior, Barack Obama, y otros, una combinación de atletas y también artistas famosos. Y por día hay como 500 millones de tweets que se hacen.
So the messages that appear on Twitter are known as tweets. And tweets are unique messages in that they're really short. So essentially a tweet is 280 total characters, and that's all you get to convey a certain message about something. Tweets can also include both pictures and video.
Y un tweet, que es cuando usted manda un mensaje por esta red social de Twitter, es un poquito diferente de otras redes sociales porque usted está limitado a 280 caracteres cuando usted escribe ese mensaje y puede incluir fotos y también videos.
You'll also see in most social media, Instagram in particular, and Facebook and Twitter, the use of the hashtag symbol or the kind of the number sign. That's called a hashtag in social media. And you can think of a hashtag as a way to categorize things. So on Twitter, we always try to tag our tweets with hashtag #WeArePUSD. That makes a message easier for people to find if they're looking for that hashtag. Another example would be hashtag Tech Tuesday. because today is Tech Tuesday. So anybody that's looking for any tweets from anybody related to those topics, or any topic for that matter, would search by using a hashtag.
En Twitter también se puede hacer uso del el signo numeral y usted puede hacer un hashtag que va a categoriza a lo que usted está mandando y lo pone en esa categoría junto con todas las personas que ha asociado ese hashtag. En todo Twitter lo va a juntar a lo que usted ponga ahí en esa red social, lo pone junto con lo que otras personas están poniendo en esa red.
The other basics related to Twitter is the ability for a user to follow someone. So essentially, when you follow someone, that means that you're interested in regularly seeing what tweets they post up to Twitter. You can also like their tweets by clicking the little heart button. That's similar to Facebook's thumbs up button, I believe, or like button. Users can also retweet tweets that they like. In other words, if I posted a tweet and you loved it, you can retweet it onto your account. And users can also reply to tweets, ask questions, clarify, comment, that type of thing.
En Twitter también puede usar diferentes herramientas. Una de esas es la habilidad de gustar un tweet. Si a usted le gusta algo que otra persona ha puesto, puede darle ese like. También puede mandar ese mensaje por medio de su cuenta a otros usuarios por hacerle retweet. Y también la gente puede responder a lo que usted pone por medio de clic el reply, la opción de reply.
So I wanted to show you just what a few of our basic Twitter accounts look like so you can get a sense of things. So this account essentially is our district account at Paramount Unified or Paramount USD. And you can see the number of followers, or the number of following, and the number of followers that this particular account has. And then just as you scroll down, you can see all the different tweets that have been made on behalf of this particular account.
Dr. Smith, were you on another slide? Because I think it probably froze.
Okay,
Twitter basics.
Let me stop sharing, and let me come back in and share. So everybody should hopefully see me at this point. And let me go back. I wanted to actually show the Twitter account. Can everyone see that now?
Yes.
There we go. So essentially this is, and I'll just do this quickly. So this is essentially what a basic Twitter page looks like. This essentially is Paramount Unified School District's Twitter page. You can see 568 followers. And then as you scroll down, you can see the various tweets that were made from this particular account. This one has to do with graduation from last summer. And then you can see, for example, how many people replied, how many people retweeted, and then how many people liked it. And then just as you go, you can see more and more posts that are made on a regular basis announcing the good news that's happening in the district.
En este momento, el Dr. Smith está demostrando la página de Twitter del distrito y si usted puede ver, este es solo un ejemplo básico. Cuando el distrito manda un tweet, usted tiene la oportunidad, si tiene una cuenta por medio de Twitter, puede hacerle clic para, si le gustó, puede mandar un mensaje. Can you point to the heart, please? Si le gusta el tweet, puede hacerle un clic en el corazón. También puede reenviar este mensaje a otros usuarios por medio del retweet. Y también puede mandar un comentario o responder a lo que ha puesto el distrito por medio de la opción del comentario.
I'm going to share a list with you of all the different accounts, or many of the different accounts, Twitter accounts that are out there in Paramount. Just to quickly show you a couple more. Our superintendent is also on Twitter. So Dr. Ruth Perez, our incredible superintendent, also has an account and tweets frequently or retweets things frequently.
Aquí está demostrando otras cuentas que tenemos en el distrito y una cuenta es la de del superintendente superintendente, la doctora Pérez, ella tiene una cuenta de Twitter y por medio de esa red social usted puede ver todo lo que está mandando para que pueda mantenerse al tanto de lo que está pasando.
And most of our schools are also on Twitter. So here, for example, is Jackson School's Twitter account, and they're pretty active in terms of posting things.
Y también las escuelas tienen cuentas de Twitter. Aquí en este ejemplo, la escuela Jackson está poniendo diferente información acerca de su escuela también.
And then last one I'll show is Odyssey STEM Academy, although all of our high schools have Twitter accounts, which I'll share in a minute, but Odyssey is also a frequent tweeter.
También la escuela de Odyssey tiene una cuenta y está muy activa en la red social de Twitter para que usted pueda informarse por medio de esta red.
So I'm going to pull our presentation back up now, and let me go back and share the screen just so I can show you all of the different web accounts that we have. So Darrell will post up onto our website this presentation, and so you can look up all these accounts. But what I wanted to do was provide you a full list of our main district accounts, as well as the accounts for all of our schools.
Aquí en esta página, el Dr. Smith ha colectado todos los Twitters que hay disponibles en el distrito. Tenemos algunas, la del distrito y también el Twitter de él y del superintendente, pero también tenemos diferentes escuelas aquí en esta lista y usted va a tener acceso de esta por medio de la presentación que tenemos el enlace en la página del distrito.
So you can see Paramount Unified, our superintendent, and myself. And then you can see all of our elementary schools.
Tenemos aquí escuelas elementales aquí.
And then you can also see all of our middle schools and high schools, as well as our adult education program.
Y también tiene los Twitters de las escuelas de las middle schools y también de las escuelas secundarias y también de las escuelas para los adultos.
Now, please keep in mind that those aren't the only Twitter accounts that are active in the district. So for example, Darrell Jackson, Nancy Rivas, and many, many others, our principals, our assistant principals, all have their own accounts. A great place to start, though, with Twitter is just by getting on and checking out your school or our district accounts, and then start looking at some of the posts and start following some of the people that are doing the good work here in Paramount Unified School District.
Una buena manera de comenzar por mantenerse conectado es por medio de las escuelas, pero solo para que usted sepa, no solo son las escuelas que tienen cuentas de Twitter, también los principales, maestros también tienen cuentas. Aquí en esta sesión nosotros, el señor Jackson, yo y también el Dr. Smith tenemos cuentas. Entonces usted puede comenzar por medio de la escuela y encontrar muchas otras personas que están usando Twitter en el distrito también.
Last thought on social media in general, it's really important to us that we connect with you as parents and family members where you happen to be. And so social media is a great place to do that. And we realize that some family are really comfortable with Facebook, some are really comfortable with Instagram, and others are more comfortable with Twitter. So we're really trying to make sure that we reach out to you as our parents and families who we are here to serve through the venue or medium that you're most comfortable with.
Es muy importante para nosotros mantenerse conectado con usted mediante de la plataforma que usted se siente más confortable. Y esa es la razón primordial por qué tenemos todas estas redes sociales para que usted pueda escoger la red social que usted se siente más confortable y de esa manera pueda comunicarse.
And with that, Darrell, I think I'm going to turn it back to you. Ryan, that was awesome. I don't know. I've discovered Twitter over the last, I don't know, dozen years or so. No, not that long. I don't think it's been around that long, but it's helped me to reveal sort of an inside kind of a line on what's going on in the schools and all the amazing things that are being celebrated. And so joining the conversation, create an email and get an account and and as parents, we ask you to just consider some of these other ways of staying in touch. Now we're going to pivot at this point back to the district website, and we're going to have Henry show us a couple more things, and that's going to wrap up this evening's event. So Henry, do you want me to share my screen again?
Could you please?
Okay.
Okay, so as we've said, social media is one of the ways that we try to stay connected with you digitally. But if social media isn't your thing, that's not a problem. Our latest news and upcoming events can also be found in several places on our website. So without having to click anywhere, if you notice on our district, on our homepage here, we have this district banner that has several images. At the moment, it has 5. And this is sort of a place on our district website that we've used to direct you to pages with current information. So for example, this event, we posted an image for this event, and here it is, Tech Tuesday. And if we click on the image, go ahead and click on it, Durrell. It leads you to a page with all the information for that event. So like I said, if you don't want to bother with social media, or it's just you're not comfortable with it, then we have several different places where you can find news and updates on our district website. Can you go back to the homepage, please?
Yep.
So we have our district banner. The second place that you can find news and updates would be on our news and events tab, which is the third one from the right. And if you click on it, you have several different options. I'm going to talk about 2 options. The first one, which is news and press release. And if you click on that, you'll notice that here is where we have our most updated or most current piece of news, as well as an archive of past events. So we blasted an alert for about this event tonight. And then if you keep scrolling down, you'll see a list or an archive of past events or past news articles that we've posted on our district website. The second place, if you go back to our homepage, or the last one of the other places to find news and updates will be at the bottom of this page. Again, going past our superintendent's message and our calendar of events. Here at the bottom, we have these 3 sections, and you can see that it says news, and our latest news will be posted here. And if you click on it, this is really just a preview of what we just saw under that news and events tab. So if I click on news, I'm redirected back to this news, district news and resources. So go ahead and go back to the homepage, and I'll translate. Si las redes sociales no son lo suyo, no hay problema. Nuestras últimas noticias y próximos eventos también se pueden encontrar en varios lugares de nuestro sitio web en el distrito. El primero va a ser estas imágenes que ve pasando. En este momento tenemos 5 imágenes, pero cada imagen usted le puede hacer clic. Can you go ahead and click on that one?
Oh, this one?
Sure. Y si le hace clic a esa imagen, lo lleva a una página donde puede obtener más información en más detalle. Ese es el primer lugar donde puede encontrar información si no tiene Facebook, si no tiene Twitter, si no tiene Instagram. El segundo lugar va a ser en la pestaña de arriba. Can you go back home? En la pestaña de arriba que dice News and Events. Can you go back to the News and Events tab? En esta pestaña va a ver que tiene muchas opciones. Yo voy a hablar de 2. La primera es la que dice News and Press Release. Si le hago clic aquí, verá los eventos, las últimas noticias que tenemos acá, y también va a ver eventos que han pasado y que hemos dejado en esta página. El segundo lugar donde puede encontrar noticias es Go Back Home. Sería hasta abajo de la página donde teníamos las redes sociales de Twitter y las redes sociales de Facebook. También a la par de esas teníamos la sección de noticias. So if you scroll down, pasamos el mensaje de la superintendente, pasamos el calendario de eventos, y acá tenemos la sección de noticias, que es una previa de la página que acabamos de ver. Así que si no quiere crear una cuenta para red social, no hay problema. Nuestras noticias siempre las tenemos en muchos lugares en nuestro sitio web del distrito. At this point, I'm going to turn it back to you, Darrell. I think I've covered most of the news and updates.
All right. Well, that was really great, Henry. And are we ready to share the education news publication that we're working on?
Yes, I forgot to talk about that. Yeah, if you want to click on that one.
Just to
Yeah, absolutely.
highlight it. I think it's a great piece that you're working on.
So this is our PUSD education newsletter, and this is published once a month, and it is available in English and Spanish. So if I click on it, you can see that it's a 4-page publication. In this case, we have an article from Nutrition Services, an article from Educational Services, an article from our governing board president, and an article from our superintendent.
I'm missing my cues here big time. I'm so sorry, Henry.
That's okay. You're doing great. You're doing great. I appreciate your help. Lo que nos está enseñando el señor Jackson es la segunda opción que estaba en esa pestaña de News y Events, que es esta publicación que es nuestro boletín de mes. La segunda opción, click. And then you're there. Si le hace clic a esta newsletter, puede ver que está disponible en inglés y en español, y en este caso solo son 4 artículos. La publicamos una vez al mes. Esta publicación es la publicación del mes de septiembre. Yeah, I completely skipped that one. Sorry about that.
Cool. No. I just did. It was such a cool cool thing that you're working on. I didn't want to pass it by.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. All right. So I'd like to just kind of close with that, and with a few things that I wanted to bring to your attention, and this becomes sort of a bookend with our presentation. And I'm going to bring it back to the home page that Henry was referring to, then to the parent and family, and just kind of highlight again that if there's anything that you need as far as Chromebook care or maintenance on anything having to do with the mechanics of learning at home, it's in this section here. And again, we have we're open on Monday through Friday for any kind of repairs or any kind of mechanical damage that has come across on your device. And so I wanted to use that as a reminder. Nancy?
Solo como un recordatorio, algo que hablamos acerca de la semana pasada, en la pestaña de padres y familias hay información acerca si su estudiante necesita ayuda técnica con el dispositivo que le han dado el distrito. Esta es la página donde usted va a ir a la pestaña Padres y Familias bajo Chromebook Care y Internet Access. Usted puede encontrar información acerca de las horas de los técnicos, cuando están disponibles a ayudar, y puede encontrar el número de teléfono y quién llamar también en esta página.
And with that, I just wanted to, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and say thank you to my colleague Nancy for her amazing work and for doing such an incredible job translating, and also appreciate all the work that Henry's doing and the amazing contribution he's been to creating our website into something that is just really a spotlight, and also to Dr. Ryan Smith for helping us out with social media. And so I just wanted to do a shout out to our team, without though forgetting all of our team is not here. And so I want to just also thank Joey Going, who's in the background working like crazy, serving our school and our families and our parents as well. And we wish her the best she's expecting, and that's all I'm going to say about that. But we just miss her a lot. And so we're thankful for the people who are here, and we're thankful also for those who aren't. With that, I'm going to look at our clock. It looks like we're about 4 minutes over our time. If you'll allow us to look at the chat, between now and the next session. We'll get back to your questions as quickly as we can, and we'll bring those back up too. Okay, so looking forward to next week, we're going to talk about some resource having to do with digital citizenship and with being able to navigate and see some amazing resources to help guide decisions and choices that you have to make with kids. So related to media, related to movies, related to different questions that you may get as far as, at what age do we need to start thinking about creating social media for our kids? Well, that's what we're looking at next week. And so we're looking forward to that and spending another hour with you. And so with that, I just wanted to do a thanks for all those who are signing in and with us this evening. Just want to say thank you for being with us.
Gracias a todos por acompañarnos y solo para que usted sepa, la semana que viene vamos a estar platicando acerca de cómo es que sus estudiantes pueden actuar responsablemente cuando están usando cosas como redes sociales o también las plataformas que usamos aquí en el distrito. Vamos a platicar acerca más de eso y les encomiamos que nos vengan a visitar la semana pasada para que usted pueda también saber las respuestas a sus preguntas. Si usted en el caso preguntó algo en la forma, vamos a estar visitando esas preguntas que usted ha hecho y dar respuestas.
Thank you, everyone. We're going to sign off at this point, but we'll see you next week.